is Making Stitches, and this time I'm taking you with me to the first ever Great Northern Textile Show, which happened in Manchester last weekend.
It's been a really dreary day outside today, and you come into the hall and there's just this colour and energy and creativity, and it really makes kind of the world just feel a better place.
The lady who's just there now just has never knitted and picked up a pair of needles, and I've just given her 3 sets of needles and she's like squealing away.
Oh, wonderful.
So we've set her on her journey, and hopefully next year she'll be wearing a hat and a scarf when she comes.
It's an interesting mix, and I think because so many of us do more than one hobby, and possibly even more by the end of the day, I think it's great to have something that caters to a bit of a wider field, and it's a surprise for people, I think, when they come along and see something that, I don't know, like knitting or crochet or felting, something they've perhaps done in the past, and suddenly they can be introduced to it again and find out that it's still quite cool and there's all sorts of interesting stuff around it. I think it's ace.
Hello and welcome to Making Stitches. I'm Lindsay, a lifelong crafter, a crochet designer and journalist. I love to hear people's stories, and in each episode of Making Stitches I like to share creative chats with inspiring makers, and my word, there was plenty of inspiration at the Great Northern Textile Show last weekend. If you caught the last episode of Making Stitches with artist, printmaker and dyer Tracy Fox, you'll know that this show was an idea which just wouldn't go away for Tracy, so she had to get on and do it. Manchester is a city built on textiles, known as Cottonopolis during the Industrial Revolution. Tracy thought there was a real need to have an event to showcase some of the amazing talent there is in the region. You'll be able to hear from Tracy later on in the episode, but first, here's a flavour of what was on offer to visitors, from vendors and craftspeople selling their own products to guilds and organisations representing a wide range of different disciplines. First of all, I spoke to the Eccles-based artist Leah Higgins about her work and her beautiful exhibition of art quilts.
I am an art quilter. I print and dye all of my own fabrics. I then chop them up and put them back together again, so I am still a patchwork and quilter. A lot of my inspirations are based on our industrial heritage and our surroundings, and there is a wealth of material in Manchester. So I have pieces based on cotton mills and on mines and lots of local history, if you like. But I also produce quilts based more on my emotional response to things, and my most recent work, which is the Cadence series, is really just about the joy of making rather than having a very specific inspiration. They came out of the lockdowns when all inspiration just flew out my head and I didn't know what to work on, so I just worked on things I loved doing, and the Cadence series has come from that.
Well, that's wonderful. Well, that's a very good place to start, isn't it? So can you tell me a little bit about your dyeing process and how you do it?
So a lot of the time I am printing my fabrics, so I start with white fabrics. I'm using Procyon reactive dyes, which means the fabric I print is completely wash fast, so I use it to make my lovely wall hangings, but you can use it for bedding, clothing, etc. I work a lot with different screen printing techniques, but the one that I use most is a technique called breakdown printing. And I use breakdown printing because there is a serendipity to it, a randomness and organicness to it, which I love because I'm actually rather a control freak, and I love the fact that some of it is taken out of my control. So with the breakdown printing process, you actually start with thickened water-based dyes. You put dye onto the back of a silk screen, you let it dry, and then when you print that screen, the dye basically wets out and transfers to the fabric, and you can't control that bit. So I can control the colours I use, and I can bias towards different types of marks, but ultimately I get a piece of fabric which is densely marked in a way that you could not achieve any other way.
How interesting. So it is a very organic
Absolutely.
process.
Absolutely.
And I believe in addition to being an artist yourself and producing your own fabric, you actually teach.
I do. I am lucky enough to have my own studio, and I started teaching about 4 years ago, pre-pandemic. And I teach small classes, up to 6 students, a lot of screen printing techniques, but I also do things on dyeing and other ways of basically adding colour and mark to cloth. I also do workshops based a little bit more around the design process, but those are really for students who maybe they've done some dyeing and printing, but they just need some help to get ideas out of their head onto fabric. And so the process is very one-to-one when I run those classes.
How lovely. And today's a special day, isn't it? The first ever Great Northern Textile Show. What's it like to be here?
It's really good. I've known Tracy for quite a few years, and I was absolutely delighted when she invited me to exhibit here, and I think she's done an absolutely amazing job. Long overdue. There are so many textile people in and around Manchester and the Northwest, and we need a show. And I think it's amazing that the collection of people she's got here, the galleries, the traders, I look forward to doing it again next year.
Craftspeople and vendors from a wide variety of disciplines were at the show with stands showcasing their work, from sewing machines for quilters to hand-dyed yarns, craft supplies to real works of art. There was so much to see. Here are just a few of the exhibitors I spoke to.
Hi, I'm Louise from Sincerely Louise.
Hello Louise, it's lovely to meet you. I have been a big admirer of your work on Instagram over the years, and it's lovely to see you
in real life.
Indeed, absolutely. So what's it like being here today for the first ever Great Northern Textile Show?
Yeah, it's really exciting. It's always nice to be asked to come to a fair, especially when it's the first one. I love Manchester, and it's just great to be at the show.
Your stand's looking fabulous, by the way.
I don't know how, because we got here with 45 minutes to set up, but we managed it. Yeah, it's not far from Sheffield, but somehow everything went wrong, but against all odds, we've made it, we've set up, and we're having a great time.
And how's it been so far? Have you done a brisk trade?
Yeah, it's been really good, really busy. Yeah, we've sold lots of kits, knitting patterns, and some books.
Fabulous. So for anybody who doesn't know you and your work, can you tell me a bit about it?
So I specialise in taxidermy-inspired knits, kits, patterns, books. I like designing things that make people smile. I use a lot of comedy in my work, and when people come to the stall, I just love when their faces light up. They've got a big smile from seeing my work.
I'm Holly Palmer, and I own Planet Quilts.
So today, what's it been like for you?
It's been amazing today. It's been really busy. Everyone's been so enthusiastic. I'm really pleased everyone's liked the quilts that I've bought, so it's been fantastic actually.
And can you talk me through a bit about what you've got here on your stand today?
Yeah. Planet Quilts is quite unique in that we do pre-loved fabric. So somebody's kind of old stash that maybe they've kind of a taste of changed, I go and source and then bring it to the market for £6 a metre. So people have been going absolutely crazy for that because there's real gems in there and it's such good value. And then on the flip side, I do absolutely brand new fabric that's really high quality. So I've got the sustainable part, but actually then some really nice high quality fabrics so that if you're going to do a quilt, and put all the effort in, you want it to be absolutely brilliant and amazing. So
yes, and last.
And patterns as well, yeah. So I've been quite keen to source patterns from Canada and America, things that you just can't get here. So I've been putting a lot of effort and time into that.
And have you had a good response from the visitors?
Yes, yeah. People, especially, they've been really interested in the patterns because they haven't seen them before. The pre-loved, as I said, was going crazy first thing. And then the quilt that I've bought is quite bold with the colours. And I've bought all the bolts of fabric and people have been buying them with so many different kind of creative thoughts in mind, some pictorial quilts, some kind of, block quilts. So that's been really interesting. I'd love to see everything everyone makes with them now.
I can imagine that's something that you come across a lot when you hear people's inspiration.
Yes, yeah. You it's rare that, with social media you do get to see finished items, but sometimes you don't, and you just let it go into the world and let someone create something magic.
Oh, how lovely to be able to aid people's creativity in such a way.
Absolutely, yeah. No, it's a real privilege actually. Yeah, and it is, and just such lovely fabric. And it's been a really dreary day outside today, and you come into the hall, and there's just this colour and energy and creativity, and it really makes kind of the world just feel a better place.
Got it in one, absolutely.
I'm Ian Fothergill from the Knitting Gift Shop. We specialise in gifts for knitters, and we sell lots of knitting kits. All of our patterns are designed by Trish, my wife Trish. We buy our own wool. We have some spun. We dye it ourselves, and we make it up into little hampers and gifts which people buy for themselves or as gifts for other people. This time of year, we've got all of our Christmas decorations which people buy. And shows like this, which are sort of multi-craft, we do well because even if people don't knit, they'll buy a gift for somebody else. So,
absolutely.
So it's been really good.
And I think a lot of people who are here today can be quite easily turned into a new craft.
Yeah, well, that's right.
Something catches your eye.
Yeah. And we do when Trish designs the patterns, she does it with beginners in mind. We do a lot of kits which are fairly easy knits, which anybody can sort of start with, and then we do kits which are more intermediate, for more people who have more skill. We've done really well today with people, especially buying the little Christmas decoration kits, for other people. So it's been good.
Fabulous. So it's the first Great Northern Textile Show.
Well, I'd like to think there was more because the little one-day shows for us. We've travelled down from Durham, which is we've stopped at a hotel. So doing a one-day show is always a little bit of a risk because you never know how many people are going to be there, what you're going to make. But the footfall's been really, really good today, and it's 1:30. There's still a hall full, so we're happy.
I'm Tanya Hardman. I run the Woolly Tangle.
Okay, and you've got a beautiful stall here.
Thank you.
Your yarn is stunning.
Thank you.
How's it been today?
It's been really busy. It's been a really good day. They've done a fabulous job considering it's the first time they've run. Really enjoyed it.
Fabulous. So you've had brisk sales then?
Yep, definitely.
That's great to hear. So are you a show regular?
Yes. Yeah, I do quite a lot. Too many, possibly. They're good fun, but they are hard work.
I can imagine, but probably quite hard to turn down if you get the opportunity.
Yes, definitely.
And do you dye the yarn yourself?
I do, yep. I have a very colourful utility room. I'm not neat.
Well, no. I think if you're creative,
no,
this doesn't necessarily go, does it?
No. It's creativity, not mess.
Indeed. So can you tell me a bit about your work?
So I used to be a professional gardener many years ago. So I take a lot of my inspiration from the natural world, from plants, from flowers. I live across in North Wales, so I have mountains and sea and beach and all those lovely things. So I take all that and put it on yarn, more or less, in a nutshell.
Well, it looks absolutely beautiful.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations on a lovely stall and
thank
good
you.
luck with the rest of the day.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet you.
I'm Tilly Flop Designs. My name's Julie.
Hello, Julie. It's lovely to meet you. How's today been for you?
It's actually been a real surprise, a real joy. It's the first non-yarn, purely yarn show I've done, and as someone who knits and sews and crochets and likes textile stuff anyway, it's been a real treat, and it's lovely reaching and meeting new people that haven't been to, if you like, your typical yarn show, which is where I would normally exhibit at. So it's been lovely, really, really nice. I'm really excited by it and quite inspired by the other vendors.
Well, I know it's quite dangerous coming to places like this, isn't it? Because all of a sudden you acquire new hobbies that you didn't know you needed.
Yes, and it's a good job I'm in a big car because it might be a bit fuller going home than it should be. But no, I love it. It's really exciting, and I think it's a really it's an interesting mix. And I think because so many of us do more than one hobby, and possibly even more by the end of the day, I think it's great to have something that caters to a bit of a wider field. And it's a surprise for people, I think, when they come along and see something that, I don't know, like knitting or crochet or felting, something they've perhaps done in the past, and suddenly they can be introduced to it again and find out that it's still quite cool, and there's all sorts of interesting stuff around it. I think it's ace.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And on such a high level as
Yeah.
well.
Oh, it's just
some of the stuff's beautiful, isn't it?
It's absolutely totally inspiring. Totally inspiring. I mean, the exhibition here it's just it's breathtaking. I love it. Yeah.
I take it you'll be coming back next year.
Well,
then.
I hope it's going to happen again next year, because this is the first one. Obviously, I really, really hope so, because it's it's very local as well, which I'm very spoiled by. But I hope it does, because I think it's definitely a hole in the market for this kind of show, and Tracy seems to have nailed it. And I think hopefully word of mouth will spread the news as well, and I think people will be really excited by it.
Definitely, because I mean, Manchester has been lacking something like this.
It has. I mean, I can't think of the last. I mean, it's very good at craft and makers markets, but something that's specifically textile, especially being in Manchester, home of cotton industry and the Industrial Revolution, I think it's the ideal spot. So I think we should definitely have something like this, and hopefully next year it might even, dare I say, go on to 2 days. Really good. Well, that might be a bit greedy. But no, I think it's ace. I think it's fantastic.
Alongside the vendors invited to the show was a range of crafts guilds. Visitors were given the opportunity to try their hand at some of the crafts on display, from knitting and crochet, patchwork quilting, weaving and spinning, as well as learning the basics of felt making.
Felt is being made with fleece from sheep and soap and water and friction. What you can hear now is the friction of the rolling of the felt. It has been soaked and sprayed with water, and it's an ancient craft that was in the pyramids many years ago, and it was the monks in the Middle Ages who used to walk from abbey to abbey and pick the fleece off the bushes and put them into the sandals so that they wouldn't be cold, and the friction of the movement of the foot on the fleece and the rain caused them to have felt insoles.
That's amazing.
I used to lecture on felt. No, it's what you can see now that's happening is it's got to be rolled 50 times each way, top, bottom, side, then it's got to be turned over and felted again in the same way, and each time it shrinks a little more and a little more, so that you get something just a bit smaller than that to start off with, and something like that at the end. So it shrinks a great deal. And it's hard on the hands, but if you use proper lanolin soap, it's good for you. Yeah, sort of. But no, it's about a minute. Everybody says it's time consuming, but it isn't, because once you start there, you're miles away. You're thinking of other things, or you're thinking of the end product.
My name's Ali Rose, and I'm one of the regional coordinators for the International Felt Makers Association, as is my friend Leslie, and Leslie King. And we organise workshops and encourage people to join to find out more about felting. And that's about it, isn't it?
So tell me about felting.
Oh, well, it's wool at the stage before it gets spun into knitting wool, and you layer it in different layers and use soap and water, and it becomes a fabric. And you can do, as you can see, so many different things with it, from fine work to big heavy duty coats, hats, boots and what have you, or you can do really fine scarves and things. Whatever you like, you can make. And the headgear.
I know, that's an amazing. The stuff that you've got here on display. Penguin's head.
Yes, I did that for. There's a lady who's doing a group of head things for a display of animals that are going extinct. So you have to have your animal head with a bit about why it's going extinct and what. And she's going to do it as a travelling exhibition eventually.
Fabulous.
So yes, that took a long time.
I can only imagine.
Yes.
All the layers and the colours that you've had to build up to create that.
Yeah, it did take a long time, but it was great fun.
How did you get into felt?
completely accidentally. I went and did a City and Guilds in upholstery, and one of the tutors was a felt maker, and she just, anybody fancy learning how to do that? Me please. And I've been doing it for 15 years now, and I love it. It's so versatile, and it's not an expensive hobby. You don't need a lot of expensive equipment to start off with, so it's great.
Wonderful.
Really good.
What are you doing here today then? I can see you've got
I've been
a table.
demonstrating. Having a break. Yes, I'm demonstrating, showing people how to do it and what you can do with it, and just demonstrating some of the stuff. Some of this I've made, some of this other women have made, and we have a group in Frodsham, which is not far, to encourage people to come along, learn about it. It's a growing craft. This.
Absolutely.
Really, yeah, it's great fun.
And have you had a good response from the visitors?
Yes.
Who've had a go?
Yes, we've been heaving. I've got a few people who want to come and do workshops with me, which is great. And yeah, we've been busy all day, so I'm exhausted.
I can well imagine.
Yes.
There's been quite a crowd of people here today.
It's thinning out now, but most of the day it's been really busy. It's good. I've not been here before.
Yeah. No one is the first one.
Yeah. No, it's a nice venue.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah. A nice crowd of visitors. Everybody's so generous and friendly, aren't they?
Yes. Yeah. And everybody's been really pleased that we've allowed them to touch things and look at, because a lot of people are like, oh, you can't touch it. Feel it, see what it's like, because that's how you get people to be interested.
Indeed. It's quite a tactile craft though as
well. It is, yeah, it is. And you're not going to damage it by, just take a pair of scissors to it.
Heaven forbid.
Exactly. Other than that, you're not going to damage it, so it's fine. Yeah,
well,
it's good.
Wonderful. It's been lovely to speak to you and
thank
find
you
out a
very
bit more
much.
about felting.
Good. Hope we get a few more recruits.
What should people do if they want to find out about your group?
Google the International Felt Makers Association, and online they can see where their regions are, where there are different groups, and just contact the press officer. I presume they'll point them in the right direction.
I'm Caroline, and I am from the Montague Patches group that meet in Sale.
Oh, lovely. So, you're all patchwork quilters then?
Yes, we are all patchwork quilters, and it's a group that has been running since the 80s, so it's a really old group, and we're here today to show our work, and it's specifically what we've done in lockdown. So, obviously we stopped meeting, and for patchworkers, it's lovely. Sewing can be a solitary activity, so getting together with other people and sharing the craft and knowledge is really, really important. So it was very difficult when lockdown happened. So Carol, who's our lovely chair lady, learned how to use Zoom, and lots of our older members didn't know how to use it, so we helped, and everybody managed to do Zoom. But we started to do challenges to help push ourselves as quilters but keep us together as a community. So they sent out pictures every 3 weeks, and each person could take a different inspiration from the pictures. So that was lovely because everybody just took something completely different. So that's what we've got here today, and we always do a Christmas challenge as well. So our Christmas challenge is up, and just some UFOs. So we've brought it today to tell people about us and show our work.
And it's absolutely stunning. The backdrop, if only people could see what I can see from this angle. Just stunning art quilts behind you on the wall.
Thank you. Well, it's fantastic. We've just got a new member who's joined us who's just brand new to quilting, and then we've got some ladies that have been doing it 50 plus years.
Wow.
So the breadth of knowledge and everybody likes something different, everybody will use different colour. It's always the thing, if you give somebody the same pattern, you'll end up with different things from everybody because everybody's got different ideas. So it's lovely, and it's a great group for sharing, because I've started knitting socks, and Margaret's here today saying, oh well, I'll tell you what, I'll help you do the heel next time, and things like that. So it's just fantastic.
That's the joy of crafty people though, I think. They're very generous with their knowledge, their time, and just it's the enthusiasm, it's that passing on of knowledge, and particularly some of these crafts you're looking at are very, very old crafts, and it's just to pass it on down, and it's brilliant. It's just fantastic, which is why these events are so important, because I've seen people that I haven't seen in ages, and we've passed, oh, this course is good, and have you tried that, and try this, and it's brilliant.
So what are you doing here today then? Are you here specifically to try and bring new people into your group, or is it just a case of showcasing what you've done?
It's both. It's both. We want to showcase and show what our members have done, because what our members do is awesome. And we also want to tell people about Montague Patches, because these groups are important and they keep going through having new members and new people coming in. So we've got a sign-up sheet, and we've got people who might come along and try us and things like that. So that's really, really important to keep different people coming in. People move away from the group and things like that, and it only works if you've got that turnover.
Absolutely. So you said you've got somebody new signed up today, have you?
Yes, we've got several names on our list, very exciting, of people who just want to learn a bit more about it. I'm currently trying to revamp our website as well, which is something very new to me, and so we're trying that. But yeah, so we're just getting the word of our group out there. But it's fantastic that we've been asked, because we're opposite all the guilds and things like that. But it's just another place for patchworkers to come.
And if somebody wants to find out about your group, what should they do?
They can go on our website, Montague Patches. If you just Google Montague Patches Sale, there's contact details on there, and you can get in touch with us. We've also got a Facebook group as well that you can join, so you can get in touch with us.
Well, I'm Liz Carrington, the chair of the North Cheshire Guild of Weavers, Spinners and Dyers.
What are you doing here today, Liz?
We're demonstrating skills of spinning, weaving, not dyeing, although we have got examples of dyed yarn. We've got 3 different types of spinning wheels, one very basic without a foot treadle, and my friend is spinning from cotton wool balls, so very short fibres, but with an old-fashioned spindle wheel you can make a thread. We've also got different types of weaving frames and looms, so I'm using a yarn shifter, which is a square frame that I only need 1 ball of yarn. So instead of starting with your warps going one way and the weft that you wiggle over and under on a traditional loom, I can just use 1 thread, but I've got to weave over and under and pull it. I'm weaving round in like a square, going round and round, smaller and smaller. But we also have a very simple peg loom, and that is set up so that 2 people can work on it at the same time. And it's a very simple type of weaving to make something quite chunky, like a cushion pad. And down at the end, a rigid heddle loom, which is a smaller version of a traditional loom, where you're separating your odd and even warps so that you can feed a shuttle through with the weft.
So that's like a mini version of what you visualise as like almost an industrial kind of loom.
Yes. I mean, weaving basically, you usually have either a frame, so you have the main thread stretched over, and then your weft is the one that you wiggle over and under from side to side. So with tapestry weaving, a simple frame, you can make curves and shapes because you're using lots of different threads and bobbins. But on a little loom or even a large loom, very often you're working in straight lines. So you can manipulate it, but it's very often checks or stripes or something plain. And it won't be stretchy like a knitted cloth.
Now, have you had a lot of people coming up to have a go and find out more today?
Yes, we have. Yes, it's quietened down a little now, but it has been, I think, very successful. And a lot of people are quite surprised by how many different versions of a loom or a spinning wheel that we have. So I think it's been very encouraging, and I think several visitors will probably come and join us on the 4th Saturday of the month to see what we do at our Spinning Guild meetings, which will be very exciting. So we get new members, but we also sort of get a chance for people to have a little go.
Yes, well, I have to say the square loom that's in front of you, I've never seen anything like that before in my life.
No, you can buy what they call pin looms, and they're usually quite small. They could be 4 inches square, a little wooden frame with a hole in the middle, and then pins all the way round. And you again use it like I'm using my larger version with one thread, but it's a case of wiggling over and under. So this is in theory very straightforward, but when you're doing your wiggling over and under, if you make a mistake, it's easy to undo, but it's very easy to get distracted.
I'm sure.
And make a mistake. So the idea is I'm using a long needle come crochet hook to pull a loop through, and that will weave up at either side. It does come unhitched occasionally, so it's a bit frustrating when you can't see it. It's probably quite hard to visualise.
Yes.
But I'm instead of going from side to side, I'm in effect weaving up and down on each side because I've pulled a loop through, but I've wiggled over and under as I've pulled it through.
And the yarn you're using is variegated, so it makes it like tartan.
Yeah, it's a sheets tartan. I'm weaving squares. My 2 squares that I've finished are not the same size because one has been more enthusiastically washed in hot water to shrink it a little. It's from a Jacob fleece. So Jacob sheep, quite small, they're generally creamy coloured but with brown splodges. And when you get a bit older, the brown goes a bit grey. So I've got grey brown, dark brown and cream all from one fleece. And when I spun it, I separated the colours. I did my carding, made little rolags like little woolly sausages, and I spun the yarn as a single thread, but then instead of plying 2 together, I Navajo plied, which is pulling it through in a series of loops, like doing a huge crochet chain, but as it's twisted together, you get a 3-ply yarn. And because I've spun a block of cream and then a block of brown and then a block of dark brown, and then it's all twisted back on each other, you get a variegated yarn. So it's a bit random. I don't know what's exactly in the middle of this ball, but one big ball will easily do you a square. And if you run out, you'd have to knot it and weave it in at the edges. But usually I try and avoid doing that.
That's amazing.
You can do a cheats tartan. It doesn't match up, but the eye doesn't really notice.
No.
So I stitch them together and make a throw or something.
That's marvellous. So you've seen this through from fleece to finished product.
I'm a bit lazy these days. I don't really like preparing fleece too much, so I often buy perhaps silk fibres or something that's blended already. The work's already been done for you. So yeah, it's very satisfying working from the fleece, but I also like experimenting with cotton and silk and other fibres.
Oh, wonderful. Well, Liz, it's been a joy to speak to you and absolutely fascinating.
Thank you very much. You're very welcome.
We are the Yarn Addicts of Manchester, and we're the Manchester branch of the Knitting and Crochet Guild UK.
Well, it's lovely to meet you, and can I just remark on what beautiful headgear you have?
Thank you. The unicorn has been around for a few years now, but the parrot...
Recent addition to the club.
It's a bit warm.
I can imagine indoors, yeah. I'm warm without a hat.
But it has got people talking
It
and
has.
smiling, and that was the whole purpose. So
Wonderful. So tell me a bit about your organisation, what you do.
So I set the group up in February 2015. I'd been crocheting for about 6 months and got totally addicted. Couldn't find a group anywhere that wasn't meeting in a church hall 10 o'clock on a Tuesday, and I work full time and just couldn't find anywhere. And I thought, instead of moaning about not being able to find a group, why don't I just set up the group that I want to attend? So we have about 500 members. We meet a couple of times on a Saturday a month, once on a Thursday. We do yarn trips. We worked all through COVID on Zoom and had, what do we do, afternoon tea parties?
Yes, and tea parties, quizzes,
cocktails.
It was wonderful.
So we're primarily a knit and natter group. Part of being the Manchester branch for the Guild is to promote the craft, to keep it active in, people think it's a dying art, but it's really not.
I don't think so.
I mean, when we had our old venue, we would get 55 on a Saturday. So, and we've got such a broad age range from, my niece who's 15 up to 70s, yeah. And everybody, it's not young in one corner, old in another corner. We're a really inclusive, happy crafting community.
Well, how lovely. And I can see you've got a table set up over there, and there are people who are clearly being taught to knit for the first time. So is that part of your role as well?
It is. It's to try to help people, even people who can knit or crochet and think, how do I do this heel in a sock? Can someone show me? And there's always someone on hand to just help you with your stitching, isn't it? Or a bit of extra knowledge. But it's great to try and share it and bring new people in as well, which the lady who's just there now just has never knitted and picked up a pair of needles, and I've just given her 3 sets of needles and she's like squealing away.
Oh, wonderful.
So we've set her on her journey, and hopefully next year she'll be wearing a hat and a scarf when she comes.
She may have her own unicorn by then.
She might do.
Well, that's so nice that you're able to spread the joy, because unless you've got somebody in your inner circle of friends or within your family to show you, you've just got kind of YouTube and fumble your way through. Yeah. But to be able to sit down with somebody who knows the ropes, it's so much nicer to do it in person, isn't it?
I always remember when we met, because we meet in Waterstones in their cafe, and somebody came in, and when we had like 55 pre-COVID, and she stood in the doorway and she looked round and she's like, you can do this with other people. And she called it her dirty little secret because she knitted at home on her own and didn't think it was a social thing. But actually, it's the most social thing you can do, really, because you have a way in to chat to people. Even if you're nervous, shy, you can just start with, what are you making? You're not on a big stage of having to chat, and you can just talk about your knitting and your crochet, and it's such a door opener and a way in for people.
Absolutely, and especially in this day and age when we've got social media and we can share what we're making, can't we? It can be much more, doesn't have to be behind closed doors and everybody else be oblivious to what you're doing.
Exactly. Well, you can see all the stuff. Carrie's probably made half of the things on our stall. But Carrie is a one-woman crochet machine.
Yes, I am.
So how did you get into crochet, Karen?
I was bored one day at work and thought I needed a new hobby. So one of the girls that I sat next to, she did knitting, and I was just like, I'll do crochet. So spent a few weeks doing the videos and buying some hooks and yarn, and then obviously once I got into it, made a few things, I decided to try and find a group, and that's when I found Helen's, and I've been going over 6 years now. So wow, that was brilliant.
We were all away last week. Was it last weekend? The weekend before? We have an annual retreat where we hire a big house, and Carrie and I and 2 others been to Iceland, and so it's, it starts as one thing. You come for a bit
coffee,
of
and
before you know it, you've got friends the best friends you could have. So
we did the Manchester Flower Show last year, and they asked us to come back again this year. So our name's out there a little. It's quite nice when we get contacted saying, we've heard about you from this person, can you help us with this? And yeah, it's quite good.
Random requests. I did have, I think is it Dominic Littlewood, who I was asked if I could make him a sausage dog for a programme he was doing. So you can get very random requests, but it's all part of the fun.
Absolutely. So if anybody's interested in getting involved, what should they do?
We are on the social networking website, which is www.meetup.com, and the group name is the Yarn Addicts of Manchester, and that's where we host all our events. We're also on Facebook and Instagram. We do keep them closed just because it's nice to not have 5,000 people in a group that you'll never meet. Everybody in our group, it's a safe space, it's a safe community, and they're all part of our meetup. But yeah, that's the way you can find us. You'd be very welcome to join.
Now, of course, the whole show would not have happened had it not been for Tracy Fox coming up with the idea in the first place and then bringing all these people together. I managed to find Tracy towards the end of the day's events for a couple of minutes to reflect on how the first ever Great Northern Textile Show had gone.
Tracy.
Hello.
Here we are. We spoke before the big day.
Yes, we did.
We're heading towards the end of the show now. How's it been?
Tiring. It's been a hell of a lot of hard work, but the feedback from visitors and from exhibitors have made it all worth it, because I had a lot of boxes to tick for this show in terms of promoting local groups and local talent, both on the exhibitor side and on the people selling their work, and I think that's been achieved if the feedback is to be believed. So I'm really grateful for all the exhibitors and the visitors for making an idea that wouldn't go away come to fruition.
How does it feel though to have seen this through? You said to me it was this idea that was bouncing around for ages and ages, and eventually you just had to seize the moment, and now here we are. You've done it.
I think it's probably too soon for me to appreciate what's been achieved today. I think once everything's packed away and I have time to reflect on it, I think that's probably when I will think, yeah, that was really good. So I'm really, really grateful. I can't stress that enough. I'm really grateful for, just yourself for introducing me to podcasts, and for, all the exhibitors, because some of them, I didn't know. I approached them after I'd done some research to invite them to be part of the show. So I'm really grateful for everybody's support, because, I'm just the organiser. It's the visitors and the exhibitors that make the show. Without them, there wouldn't be one. So at the moment, my overriding emotion is gratefulness, really.
Yeah, well, certainly from the people I've spoken to today, I think people felt that there was a huge gap in the market here that needed filling, and you've ticked the box.
Oh, wow, that's really nice to hear, because, like I say, I had a lot of aims for this show, and that was one of them, and to provide something more local as well. So I'm really pleased that that's been achieved from the feedback that you've received. So thank you for that.
That's all right. Well, I'd best let you go, because I'm sure there's still more to do before you then go and lie down in a darkened room.
I've not even had an opportunity to shop myself yet, so I need to get round, because the exhibitors are such quality exhibitors. I don't want to miss the opportunity to buy a few things myself. So that's my plan for the next half hour, see if I can get round and buy one or two things. So thank you very much again, Lindsay, for inviting me to be a part of your podcast family, and I hope our paths cross again in the future.
Definitely.
Thank you to Tracy and all the lovely people who I met and spoke to at the show on Sunday. It was a really great event. Perhaps if you missed it, you'll be joining in on the next Great Northern Textile Show, after Tracy's had a rest, of course. If you'd like to find out about the crafts guilds and exhibitors I spoke to, you can find links to all of them in the show notes for this episode. Thank you very much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with someone who you think might enjoy it too, or perhaps you'd be kind enough to leave me a review on your favourite podcast platform so other people can find out about making stitches more easily in future. That's all for this time, but I'll be back again in 2 weeks' time with another inspiring creative conversation for you. Until next time, thank you for listening, stay safe and enjoy your crafting.